How was the train?
What's fun once I got on it? The station was bad. The station was fucked, bro. The station was fucked. I was supposed to take a train at like 5:10, and I missed it because I just couldn't find the entrance to the station. And then I finally find the entrance to the station. Yeah. Where I had to go down this like random door in this like tiny little hallway, and then go down like 45 feet. Yeah. Bro, it was fucking crazy. You get like this.
Understanding of like the rules and how you can engage and disengage from the turtle position in order to score points or negate points. But obviously he does this for a living. He travels all across the world, specifically refereeing this ADCC rule set. So it'll be a really valuable resource for everybody here to get inside his brain and see what's under all that long curly hair.
Sometimes I think we're enemies. Every time I'm at the tournament, he talks shit to me. He says I'm in the kids division. So Heath, a good friend of ours, he reached out with the idea. It's perfect timing for the Chicago Open. He's here to ref. What's your title? Just a ref? Can we say head ref, or does that sound bad?
No, I'm not the head ref. That's Miguel, but I'm
vice president of reffing.
I guess I'm a primary ref. I don't know. Yeah.
He did get to ref. It was awesome to see you do the World Championships.
Yeah, I did Worlds. I got to do a bunch of matches. I got to do the absolute bronze medal match.
That's awesome.
Giancarlo and Dante.
Yeah, it was a really great match.
Yeah.
So he's got a very extensive knowledge of the rule set of ADCC, which is like prized information because a lot of us don't fully understand the rules as much as they think they do until you're actually in it, and then you ask a lot of questions. So he's got some great stuff he wants to share, but again, hopefully this is a good way for anyone who's doing the competition. Raise your hand if you're competing this weekend.
Oh,
there you go.
Nice.
See that a lot of us do. So, I'm sure they'll have questions too, but you're in charge, man, whatever you work on.
So yeah.
Thanks again, buddy.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate you. Let him talk.
Yeah, thanks for the nice intro. So, I don't know how much Joey told you guys what I was planning on teaching, but if you saw the sick mobster gangster poster that I made, you'll see that the title of the seminar was Maximizing the Turtle. And so I think that like one thing that people kind of get tricked on is like if we're doing a rules seminar, like, oh, you're just gonna fucking sit up here and talk about the rules, right? And like that's kind of boring. And like a lot of you guys are competing, but for the people who aren't, like you probably don't care as much about like the super tight intricacies of like using the turtle in ADCC. The way that I plan on doing this seminar, and I've kind of done, I went to Germany a little while ago and I did some seminars there and I kind of did it this way too, it was pretty effective, is I'm gonna show the ways that I've seen people use the turtle most effectively in ADCC, and then also talk about the rules related to that. That make sense? Yeah. So the major difference between ADCC and other rule sets like IBJJF, Naga, stuff like that, is that turtle is considered a neutral position. So can I get two people? Anybody? So just go to the turtle position. So when I say turtle, what I'm really talking about is any position that we're chest to back and grounded, okay? So as long as Kyle's chest is touching, what's your name?
Adrian.
Asia?
Adrian.
All right, so as long as Kyle's chest is touching Adrian's back and he holds this position for 3 seconds, then this is considered a neutral position. So obviously there's no guard, because a guard is like using your legs, right? So from here, one of the things that Adrian could do is he could just roll to bottom side control. And in ADCC, we don't score side control, we score guard pass. And since there's no guard, then this is gonna be 0 points. So this is like the first thing that I wanna show people, and I'm not gonna teach this in the seminar because it's like, it's easy, bro, just like put your back on the mat. So, the main thing that I want to show you guys today is how you can, like there's going to be times where you're going to have to turtle and you're going to have to expose your back. And you do that because you want to avoid getting points scored on you, right? So like if you're in the no points period, there's literally no reason to turtle. You should just let your guard get past, keep your back on the mat, and knee elbow escape and regain guard that way. Don't ever expose your back during no points. You're just giving up the best position in jiu-jitsu for absolutely no reason. But what we're gonna look at is how we can give up a little bit of back exposure so we can get a better chance of retaining guard, sweeping our partner, getting to a better position, and that kind of thing. Go back to the turtle position. So I mentioned that turtle is any time that you're chest to back. So it could be this, but it could also be in front of the elbows. So if we end up like this, and we're here, 1, 2, 3, and then now Adrian just rolls to bottom north south. Again, because we were in a neutral position, this isn't going to be points. Okay. But the chest to back doesn't have to look like this sort of turtle. I've seen situations before where, let's say Adrian is playing guard, and he starts to get his guard passed. And in order for Kyle to score these guard passing points, he has to get Adrian's back flat on the mat, 75% or more of the back flat with control. So if Adrian is able to turn his back up off the mat, it doesn't even have to be this much. If he's here like this, and Kyle can't flatten him out, he's not gonna get points. But there's still chest to chest, okay? There's not a time limit here. So they could be here for 2 minutes, and Kyle finally puts his back on the mat, and now he scores his points. But what happens is if Adrian, so Kyle passes the guard and Adrian turns up on his side, but now he sort of like starts breaking this 90-degree angle, and we start getting more of a chest to back here. So see how, yeah, it doesn't even have to be that much. Yeah, so here, I would say that there's more chest to back than there is chest to chest. So a lot of judges will already count this as chest to chest, and if you stay here for 3 seconds, then you're gonna get, it's gonna be totally fine. So we're mostly gonna look at turtle for guard retention today, and then what to do if that fails. But a lot of this stuff will also apply in a takedown, because if we have 2 standing people and Kyle shoots in a double leg or whatever, he puts his partner down. If he can't keep the hips on the ground or the back, so either Adrian gets his hips off the ground and like this, or he gets his hips off the ground by putting the point of his shoulder on the ground. Probably the other shoulder. So like this, you don't even have to be in a full turtle. Like this is, there was this match specifically, Wagner Rocha versus Sam Kilmer. You guys can watch that if you are super interested. But they basically ended up in a position like this, and Wagner, they gave Sam points for takedown. Wagner argued that he was not, the criteria for takedown weren't met, and that's true because in the rule book it says hips or back, and obviously his hips or back is not on the mat. Shoulders doesn't count. Okay, so all of this stuff that I'm going to talk about is going to work for takedowns as well, but we're just going to look at it from the ground. I think it's a good place to start. So the first thing we're going to look at, so all of this stuff is applying when points are active, right? So remember I said if we're in the no points period, and whenever I teach this as a 3-hour seminar, I teach it in 3 parts: the no points period, the points period, and the overtime. And the first thing that I always show people is if you're getting your guard passed and no points, he passes my guard, we just stay here. You know, worst case scenario, he mounts me, okay, but he's never gonna take my back. And then in the full length seminar, we look at a mount escape series that I really like to do. But we're gonna skip basically straight into the points period. Just keep in mind, like tomorrow, don't be like, oh fuck, that guy told me like I should turtle. And it's like, yeah, you idiot, you turtled in no points. Like, of course you got your back taken and strangled. So just don't turtle in the no points. So anyways, so the first thing we're gonna look at is Kyle is going to pass my guard here. Boom. Okay. Now, one key detail when we want to go to the turtle is that we need both of our arms on the same side of our body. So one like stereotypical jiu-jitsu example is that he has this elbow and his head is nice and ear to ear touching the mat here like this. He's got a nice good side control. And now when I try to turn up into him, my left shoulder blocks. And when I try to turn away from him, my right shoulder is blocked. Okay, so, okay. When you feel like all is being lost and you need to use this turtle position to avoid getting your guard passed, what you need to do is put both of your hands on the same side of your body. So just pass to the side so you can see. So as soon as he passes, what I like to do is I take my hands in here close to my head, and now it's easy for me to slide both my arms to the same side of my body. Okay, I'm being a bit dramatic so that you guys can see they're both on the same side, but you don't need to actually reach out this far. It's enough to just go from here to here, okay? Now the second thing is that everybody knows to turtle by scissoring their legs, okay? So a good way to get up is if Kyle's keeping a heavy elbow here, it's gonna be hard for me to just sit up like this. So instead I scissor my legs and now it's easy to get up. But notice that when I do this, there's a huge space that opens up, and if Kyle puts his left knee behind my knee, on top of it, yeah, and now he slows me coming up, he can throw his hook in, and boom, now he's got a hook in. This is bad. So the way that I like to turtle is instead of scissoring my legs, I come out to this side and I keep my elbow in close to my hip, and now he's in here tight, he's trying to hold on, he's not scoring points, right, because I'm not flattened out. And now I run along the mat this way, coming up onto my shoulder. And now notice at no point is there space opening up between my knee and elbow for Kyle to throw a hook in. And now I can come up to the turtle, okay? But if we just turtle and we're not doing anything off the turtle immediately, then it's like not gonna be super successful. We wanna use our partners, or we wanna use the looseness of the position to start to regain our guard. So the first thing we're gonna look at, Kyle comes in, he passes my guard, I make sure to keep my arms close so that I can turn and put them both on the same side of my body. I take my elbow in nice and tight underneath my body so that I can run in a circle. Now once I get to the turtle, we have a nice angle here already. I keep my knees pivoted out and I take this inside leg and post it up on his hip. Now from here I take a frame on his lat, so even if he puts weight on me, I can hold it pretty well. Now I tuck my head to the inside and I hit a roll, and if you guys are into leg locks or whatever, you can go to K-guard or reverse close guard or whatever, but if you just want to slow the match down, you can maybe put your partner in, lock up a close guard, and now you've retained guard. So first technique is just an easy inversion to retain guard. Kyle passes my guard, oh shit, I gotta get both hands to the same side of my body. But now if I scissor my legs, Kyle's gonna be able to put a hook in as I build this hip height. So instead, I bring my elbow up underneath my body, and I start running in a circle. This allows me to get a good angle so that I can immediately post my leg up on the outside. Now as Kyle tries to run around behind me, he's blocked. And now it's possible to take a cross lat frame here. Even if he applies weight on me, it's gonna be so easy for me to roll my head through to the other side, hook into the leg, and start attacking, breaking that offensive cycle. Sound good? 1, 2.
That's the same training.
I can go turtle for 3 seconds and then let you pass and you still don't score. That's very interesting. That's like, I never thought about that.
Yeah, so exactly.
Chin comes up, you're inverting towards his leg here. Feet. You're inverting towards his leg here. And then now you can off balance.
Take it out.
If you wanted to get leg control. If I want to control the leg, I can go into legs. Or don't, if you don't like the leg.
If I get my guard pass and I go up to turtle, and the opportunity ever presents itself where I get so lined up with my partner that I can take an underhook, there's no reason why I shouldn't do this, because now when he tries to circle around this direction, he's never going to be able to because I have an underhook, okay? And from here, you can start working into the legs to wrestle, stuff like that. So if you get an insane amount of disconnection, like the guy passed your guard and he's just like so shocked, like, wow, that was a beautiful guard pass, and he just fucking stays there while you turtle, then yeah, just take an underhook and regain guard or wrestle or whatever. But if he instead starts following you and you're not gonna be able to get all the way underneath, then we just take our leg up here and post it on the outside and we spin through just like we saw before. Okay, but what happens if, thank you. You're good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. But what happens now if when I go to turtle, I'm like, I get here and I feel like maybe this knee is like is already, you know, up here or something like this. I feel like, oh man, I'm really not going to be able to get this this topside knee shield guard retention. All we're going to do here is we're just going to hug the wrist and we're going to hit a Kosoto Makikomi. Okay, so Makikomi is like the fat man roll, where you roll over like this, right? But if you're not fat, then it's not gonna work. So what I like to do is I add a Kosoto hook to my Makikomi. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna step over the leg, and as best as we can, we wanna get it hooked like this, okay? So not just here, this is fine. This is great. And now from here, I don't roll away from him, because if he sprawls away and I roll away from him, then we're fighting against his weight here. So instead, I start walking into him and I roll my hips up underneath. Now I have his arm trapped and I can continue walking and getting my hips underneath his. If you guys know this, if you guys know this half guard sweep, put a whizzer in. If you guys know this half guard sweep, it's all about taking the knees together and getting your weight underneath his. Okay, it's the same thing here with this Kosoto Makikomi. I get my Kosoto hook and I hook this arm here. And now from here I start walking my feet underneath him. I can take this arm up and over, and now from here I've established my top position, but I still need to free my leg. So as soon as I take my leg out, I can't stay here, okay, because he is chest to back. He got us to turtle. And there's a risk that he could, for example, put this butterfly hook in like this, yeah, and start taking my back here. So from here, we immediately post the hip, and our head goes into the stomach here, and now we hold in a north-south position, and that's how we finish the sweep. So, show one more time, and then I'll talk a little bit about how this is related to the rules. So, I get my guard passed, I turtle, and as I come up, I feel like I'm not going to be able to get that underhook, I'm not going to be able to get that topside knee shield, so I'm going for Kosoto Makikomi here. I take an elbow deep grip on his wrist. Don't try to grab his elbow like this. You're rotating the wrong direction, right? And you're gonna end up getting stuck. So we like to come here. I can bump him forward if I need to, so that I can lock up that nice Kosoto hook. And now I drop my knee behind his knee. And I start walking in and rolling him over, okay? You can play with your partners here. Ask them to give you a bit of resistance, try to stay up, and I just keep walking into him and come up, okay? From here, if I'm holding onto this grip and I have this Kosoto hook, it's gonna be hard for him to get my back. All right, yeah, it's gonna be quite difficult. But as soon as I'm ready to start transitioning off to the pin, I need to free my leg, and immediately I'm posting in, taking my head down low, and coming off to north-south. Okay, now how does this relate to the rules? Well, interestingly, if you're in a turtle for 3 seconds, then it's a neutral position. But nothing says that you can't go through a turtle. So if we use this Kosoto Makikomi and we do it in a continuous motion without stopping in a chest to back connection, a position where we have chest to back connection for 3 seconds, then we're gonna get sweep points. And in fact, for this particular sweep, you're gonna get 4 points as long as you can pin your partner. Okay? So again, he passes, I turtle, and I can't get that good topside knee shield. So instead, I cover the arm, I bump him forward, and I go heel first to capture. Notice how my knee is below his knee here. Okay, I'm not like in front of the knee like this is super awkward. I'm below the knee and I roll. As long as I'm doing this in one continuous motion, now when I come up and I solidify the pass, as long as I can keep his back on the mat for 3 seconds, then I'm gonna get 4 points. If you guys feel like you get to that north-south position and you're not gonna be able to hold his back on the mat, the best thing to do is accept 2 points. So 2 points for a sweep, 4 points for a clean sweep. If I land in this position and I feel like, oh shit,
He's just turning onto his side here. All I have to do, just on your side, go. Cool. So maybe I get like a good chest-to-chest connection here. All I have to do is step over the legs, and as long as I do it within 3 seconds, then 1, 2, 3, now I get 2 points, okay? But if you guys go for a clean sweep and land in a position like this, and you can't pin his back on the mat in a continuous motion, and then hold for 3 seconds, you get 0 points. So you work super hard to get to this position where you're like basically pinning the guy. You're past his guard and everything. But your work is in vain because you didn't land the clean sweep, so you get 0 points.
So if you put your knee into a half guard, you don't have to put my back on the floor. You'll still get the points.
Nope. Yeah. So clean sweep
You
is
pin my
landing.
hips.
Sorry?
You pin my hips at that point.
Hips or back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys need to see the move again, or you're good? Yeah. One more time. So he passes my guard, boom. Turn to my side. I put both hands out. I come up and bring my elbow underneath my hip so that I can get out to the side. Notice Kyle is being a good training partner here by keeping his knee in front of my knee, so I can't put a topside knee shield in. So I come in and I take this over grip on his wrist. I start bringing his body weight forward, so I make room to go heel first in, and then I turn my knee down to the mat. Now I can sag off to my hip, and I use my bottom foot to start shuffling underneath. As I walk in a circle, it's so easy now to come up. And if maybe you've tried this before and you went for your pin and he fucked it all up and got on his side and you got 0 points. Okay, from here, another thing that you can do is cut your elbow back, step over the knee, and land in a nice half guard on top for your 2 points. Yeah? 1, 2. So let's say, stand up. So he's passing your guard, he's passing your guard. Okay, now just turtle, just go straight to turtle. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now either of you can do whatever you want, and the only way you can score is by putting 2 hooks in for the back, or going straight to mount your knee on belly. There's no other way to score from here. I can explain that again, like with the whole group, but the point is that anytime you're in a neutral position, you can only score by going straight to mount. Well, you don't have to go straight to mount, but yeah, by getting one of the moves that scores based on position. A sweep does not score based on position, and a guard pass does not score based on position. There's no points for side control, so what are you left with? Knee on belly, back, or mount. And now we're gonna look at what to do. So basically what we've looked at so far is we go up to the turtle and we get like a crazy perpendicular, or we get a crazy angle, and we could just get it underhook. Okay, I just mentioned it, we didn't really like drill it. Or you get a pretty good angle and you can put that knee up. Or they get really close onto your hips and you're like, fuck, okay, now I gotta go for the Kasota Makikomi. Okay, but what happens if they cover your hips completely? So my partner's in here, he passes my guard and I turtle, and boom, we're in here like this and he's covering my hips. Okay, you can do it this way just for this sake of, yeah. Okay, so now he's covering my hips. Okay, notice, I'm not gonna be able to super easily just, yeah, even like he's being nice to me, it's gonna be very difficult for me to pummel this leg out to the outside. I'm not gonna be able to hit a Makikomi from here because he's covering my hips, and if I do, when I roll, he's gonna follow me and take my back. Yeah, so we don't wanna hit a Makikomi when we're between the knees. And obviously, how are you gonna reach an underhook like this? It doesn't make any sense, okay? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna use, we still have a little bit of angle, okay? We're gonna use our little bit of angle to start getting up to a 4-point. Now, if you don't have that little bit of angle and you're more like this, okay, all you have to do is put your weight on your forehead so that you take the weight off your feet and pummel them out this way. And now we're starting to get a good angle, okay? For the sake of this drill, right now we're gonna say that, you know, you got up the turtle and he was good at following your hips, but he didn't completely cover it like a cowboy riding a horse. So we get to this position. So from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our hands out on the mat, pivot our knees, and we're gonna start hustling up to a 4-point. Now, if we come to this 4-point, and we just stay here, then he runs around behind us, and now we don't have angle anymore, and we have to start doing other stuff. So we want to keep this good angle, so we're going to keep hustling out. And as our partner follows and follows and follows, just don't follow this one, so that I can talk slowly and do the move. So we're going to take one extra step, and now we're going to take a crossover step. And this hand is going to follow the foot. So we're here, we follow, keep the grip. Yeah, we follow, And what we're looking to do is pull our partner's arm like we're applying a kimura with our hip. So now we're rolling, boom. There's a couple things that can happen. If he stays attached, we can just come up on top, similar to how we did the Kosoto Makikomi, right? But if he lets go of his hands, so we've turtled and we get here, we're coming up. If he lets go of his hands, then, you know, however it happens, may not be super beautiful, but you just get back up to your feet, or you can even stay on the ground because you never went up to standing. Okay, so this is sort of the ideal situation. We get our guard pass, we turtle, we're running. Immediately we're coming up, we're rolling, and we, okay, boom, here. And if I pin, just like before, then I get 2 points because we weren't 3 seconds just about. Or he unlocks his hands because he wants to maintain top position. As he does that, super easy to just regain our guard. And because we never went to a standing position, we're not gonna get a negative from pulling guard, right? So if we had done something like this, which we'll look at later, where we come here and we build up like that, and now we're here, 1, 2, 3. If we were to Granby, unlock your hands like that, yeah. If we were to Granby and end up here, 1, 2, 3, and now you get a negative from pulling guard because you're standing. But when we look at it from 4-point, we're never standing, so it doesn't matter. All right, so without a partner, the footwork looks like this. He passes my guard, hands go on the same side, elbow under the body, I run in a circle, post on my forehead, and immediately look how I'm pivoting on my knees. My hands are coming out in this direction, I step up, circle, 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 crossover, and roll. Focus on pulling. So just from this position, focus on pulling his elbow across his body like a kimura. If he wants to stay on top, then he's gonna have to open his hands, post on the mat, and if he doesn't, then you're gonna get a nice Granby with your hips going all the way across to the other side, posting up here, post on the hip. There's a ton of stuff that can happen from here. Maybe he scissors his legs and gets up, and you flying triangle him or something like that, yes, so that you get a nice ADCC highlight, okay? So crossover step Granby, circle, 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 crossover step same side arm, rolling, and Granby. 1, 2. So I know you can do the Granby, now do it again, and focus on dragging his elbow across like you're kimura-ing him with your own hips. With my own hips? Okay. Yeah. So he's gonna lock up, you get up to your knees and you're circling. Now slowly, get a crossover step. This hand goes through. It's right arm and right hand. That's right, right leg and right arm go through. So post on your left hand. Now right arm and right leg go through. So crossover step. Yeah, now notice how when you drag his arm across with the kimura, does that make sense what I'm saying? No. Okay, so let me do it to you. So you have turtle, or you have this position. So just come over here so I can make it easy for demonstration. So when I get to here, just try to stay up, right? If I just kind of go like this, you can like drag me back to the ground. Yeah. But if instead I focus on pulling your elbow across your body, you see how I'm applying kimura pressure to your arm? Like, okay, obviously I'm not gonna submit you here, but I'm dragging you in a way that either you let go or it ends up across. So I'm pulling the elbow across. With that. I was like using this kimura so hard, and he wanted to stay on top so bad that he was like posting out and hyperextending his arm a little bit every time. So after I did it like 5 times, he was like rubbing his arm, and I was like, bro, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna stop doing this Granby because like, it really drags you across, right? Yeah. Exactly. There you go.
First thing I'm going to do is start creating this 4-point. So I'm getting a good chase. And I'm just going to take a cross step and drop my shoulder. It's hard for him to hold on. If he really commits to holding on, he's going to fall on his head, and I'm going to jump to the far side. We can try to drill that slow. I'm going to let you keep your hands, I'll go slow with it. If I go here and I hit this rule, keep your hands on, because I can talk myself. Most likely to like it. You might not. Yeah, you don't want to let it. You feel that shit. I want to let it. Yeah, I want to let it go on the top. A 4-point. And instead of just going straight up and down, go back instead. Go back down. Take your hands here. Yes, you're side bending. Good. That way you can run.
For whatever reason, he's pinning your hips to the ground, and you feel like you can't get up with this method by running, right? Maybe, so one of the things that this necessitates is getting your hips off the mat, right? But let's say for whatever reason, he's got a ton of weight, and I can't get my hips up off the mat, and we have to hit that scissor motion to get up, okay? It's way better to, you know, start getting up to a turtle and deal with the consequences later than just fucking sitting here, and maybe he flattens me out, and now he gets his points or whatever, right? So what we're gonna look at now is we go to get this this turtle. You can do the turtle whatever way you want. I'm gonna show it with the scissor. And if you guys wanna practice like a good way of getting a first hook in after you pass the guard and your opponent turtles, they're gonna scissor their legs. Kyle is gonna take his left, he can do the foot or the knee, and he's gonna put weight heavy on my thigh. That way it makes it difficult for me to draw my knee back up to my chest. So whenever I get up here, it's gonna be really difficult for me, like I said, to pull my knee to my chest. And so it's gonna make it possible for him with this massive space that's between my knee and elbow to put a hook in. Okay, from here now, we're gonna settle in to a turtle, and Kyle's gonna take a high ball ride. So, over the hip.
Your left knee over his hip. Cover his hips.
Let me do it real quick. Yeah, now crush it.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So from here now, this is a pretty good position for him. He can start taking a power half and start rolling me over, exactly. So this is not very good for me. So we need to do something about this. If we stay in this position here, we're not gonna have as much like momentum, ability to use gravity to help us, but we are gonna be a little bit safer from power halves. So if I'm on my knees and elbows here and Kyle goes to put a power half in, then I'm gonna be able to turn my head and post my forehead like this, and now when he goes to turn my head underneath, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult, okay? But kind of, we're a little bit stuck here. Okay, so what I like to do, let's just assume that my partner has a seatbelt. Just a regular seatbelt. So we're still gonna get up to turtle, but we have to be conscious of what we're doing with our hands. Okay? We always wanna make sure that we have a primary defensive hand in, or we're doing something to mitigate the risk of being strangled. Let me rotate so that everybody can actually see. So we need to be doing something to mitigate the risk of being strangled. Okay? One thing that I like to do is just touch your cheek to either one of your shoulders, okay? So if I go like this and Kyle tries to strangle me, okay, it's not impossible, right? He could lock up a reverse mandible strangle and start strangling me that way. Or if I can get this shoulder here, okay, it's not gonna be impossible for him to lock up a mandible strangle, but there's gonna be time, okay? Ideally, we would have this the whole time, but we need to get up to our hands and start moving. So what I like to do is I'm here like this, maybe I come up like this and I start doing that same thing where I start building up and now I'm holding him in this position here. Okay, if you guys feel like your hands are really heavy, it means that they're too far forward, right? Right here, all of Kyle's weight is on my hands. But if I start walking my hands close to my feet, you'll notice that I can pretty much pick my hands up, not forever, but for a while, okay? So from here, what I like to do, I'm gonna use gravity to help me. So I'm gonna take a whipping action towards the side as I reach down with this hand and push his knee off of my hip like this, okay? From here, it's very difficult for him to hold on. If he does hold on, okay, it's gonna be really easy now. Thumb post inside, cut the elbow back, and start doing these kinds of things. Probably you're not gonna score because if you got a hook in, there's probably gonna be more than 3 seconds of chest to back, but at least he's not on your back, right? And maybe you wanted to be in a top position anyways, and now you are. So, again, he passes my guard. But this time, who knows why, but sometimes shit happens. Maybe we get to turtle, we're there for a while and he throws a hook in, whatever the case is. But I scissor my legs, he steps on my knee, throws the hook in, I come up here, and I gotta do something to protect my neck first, okay? Maybe I'm putting my shoulder up, maybe I'm putting my shoulder up this way, it depends on kind of what he's doing. Just make sure that you're kind of defending your neck. Now I start coming out and circling just like I was before, and he's locked up this nice high ball ride, okay? If your partner is just straight up falling over the top, it means that their high ball ride sucks, and they're locking it like this. Make sure that their knee is over your hip like this, okay? And now from here, it's possible to hit a little twerking action like this and a rotation, okay? Notice how with a twerk and a rotation, I can almost get him off all the way without even using my hand. But it might be the case that I need to take away the safety of this defensive hand against the strangle to quickly reach down, pop, and maybe we end up being able to do something like this. There's a ton of shit that can happen with this kind of movement. A lot of the times you end up just shaking your opponent off walking backwards, and he falls off the mat. So, last time, we come up, he gets that hook in. We're oh, watch out my balls. Okay. We're defensively responsible initially, and he's locking up nice and tight over the top of our hip. Okay, from here it should be very difficult to get him just straight off. So I'm defensively responsible with my thumb inside. I start turning to get up. Now test your partner from here. Okay, remember, if you have a lot of weight on your hands, it means that they're too far away from your feet. So we're gonna test our partner from here. He's gonna lock on tight. And now you can just go like this. Okay? Now, this isn't gonna work. But as soon as I start going like this, then if you got a big booty, you can shake them off, okay? If you need to, use the hand tap. I wouldn't suggest holding it on, right? Because if I hold it on, if I go like this and I'm like, oh, get off, yeah, exactly. So just tap, come back, tap here, like this, do some, okay. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so, yeah, just protect your neck. Okay, let's see it. 1, 2.
Nice, tossed off, boom, shake, 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 bang, right arm up.
Making wife jealous over here.
Back that thing up. I don't even have an ass and I twerk you off. Alright, you can carry a little better on the mat.
So look, the way that you want to do this is you're here like this and you squat down, right? If you want to start a good twerk, you gotta like bend your knees, right? You never see people twerk well. I guess they do like this. Okay, but so you're coming here, and now instead of going up, we go here. Turn this leg down. Okay, over. Step one leg up high. You gotta find you're gonna need this strong. And now hips high, hips.
Now you're in position for defense. And while you throw me off to your left shoulder, you're right now going to swing the knee. Sorry, I'm heavy.
Down deep, and then one side comes up more. Yeah, and you can bring them both up, but mostly one side goes up more. Yeah, get it from behind. Get it from behind. Oh, the old boy Jamie on the He did a better job.
He's working.
And
I've got enough junk in my trunk. We're working with a lot. Alright.
I'm playing with a lot, but I haven't figured out fully how to fit into the system, but it's so good that I have to show you guys, is the head pull escape. Okay, so if any of you guys remember after like Gordon and Nicky Rod started training together, there's like this story about how Nicky Rod like did a backflip to escape Gordon's back control, and all it was a head pull escape. If you watch the video where he teaches like a seminar and talks about it, he just shows his escape. So it shows you how good it is. I mean, obviously Nicky Rod is like way better than me, and Gordon is also way better than me and all my training partners. But if it works, you know, at that level, then you guys should be able to do this to each other. So we end up getting to this turtle, and he throws a hook in, and he gets this high ball ride, and we're in this position here. Okay, one thing that can happen, I'm just gonna stand up so I can talk, is that a lot of people like to be ear to ear here, so that they can get a really nice seatbelt and have a lot of control. Put your chin over the top of my, yeah, like this, exactly. This is super good. Like he can use his chin now to hang on. If he touches his chin to his hands, then yeah, he's gonna have like a ton of control here. Okay, but when he starts to round his back forward, what we can do is we can use gravity to our advantage. So as always, you know, we're here defensively responsible. And we see that he's really bending forward and trying to, yeah, exactly like this. You see this, okay? From here, all we're gonna do is reach up with the hand. Do this very slowly with your partners, because what you don't wanna do is you start going and they pull their head back and then you spike their head in the ground. So we come in here and we hold like this. Now we can drop down to our knees if we want, and we just take our shoulder and put it on the mat, okay? Now one thing that you guys can do if you really hate your training partners is you can just put your shoulder Just put your shoulder over their mouth. And maybe some other little. That's great. Yeah. And you can do this versus 2 hooks as well, so that also works. What you're looking for is this rounded posture. So we could have 1 hook, it could be 2 hooks. You can do 2 hooks this time. It can be any variety of grip. Do long hook, short hook. Yeah, exactly. So we're here like this and we see, boom, we protect our partner's neck and we drop down to an elbow and a knee. And now from here, maybe you can't get the smother or you like your training partner. Maybe it's a cute girl. I guess you shouldn't be dating people in the gym, but whatever. Okay, so from here, we're gonna start walking. Keep it in. Yep. We're gonna start sprawling and walking to the side so that we can clear the 1 hook. Once we've got 1 hook out, it's way easier to get the other hook out. And then the last thing is to just pummel your head out and throw your head into his stomach. Okay, so like a lot of people think that a good north south is like this, but if your partner is good and flexible, he's gonna fling on your hips and start pushing you down, exactly, and throw the legs over, okay? Just a side note, if they do that, then this escape also works again. So if you do, like, hold on, if you do like a shitty north south and you don't pin his hips very well and he pushes you away, just switch from the hips to the head and start pulling him back down, okay? But for this technique we're gonna look at, your partner passes your guard, you go to turtle, maybe they even throw 2 hooks in, right? Now we're really starting to get fucked, okay? And remember, and notice that I told Kyle to take this position, long hook, short hook. Because if he has 2 symmetrical hooks, it's pretty easy for me to just like shake him off anyways. So he's gonna take a long hook, short hook position. He's really curling his head. Okay, now his head's on this side, I reach up, I drop down to my knee, and I carefully place my partner's head on the ground, okay? Try to sprawl your way back so that he can't just roll you through like that. So I'm sprawling my way back, trying to cover his mouth. I can even reach down with this free hand, free a hook, start walking around. Ultimately, I get my head out, and I drive his hips down to the mat with my head. Okay, 1, 2. If you're going for the head pull escape, and you get deep enough on the head pull escape, then they won't score. Even with the 2 hooks? Even with 2 hooks in, they won't. So like, what's like that criteria? So the head placement? How do I do it? They're gonna say control. That's like, it's a little bit subjective.
So it makes it almost like a submission attempt? Is that what you're
No, it's just that, so it's the same reason, just sit down on your butt and put 2 hooks in. It's the same reason why this doesn't score. Even though he has 2 hooks in, he doesn't have control. He doesn't have chest to back, right? But if we're in this turtle position, and he has 2 hooks in, and if I get to here, I don't know how many refs are gonna actually score 3 points for the back. But it could. They could. It's a little bit subjective. It depends on a very valid argument. My chest is not on your back anymore. But also, I'm so close to escaping that how can you possibly say there's enough control to warrant points? Yeah.
So like with that north-south escape, someone puts 2 hooks in, if you keep the shoulders pinned, hard for them to get the score with 2 hooks.
I would say that there's probably something, I haven't super thought about it, sit up. There's probably something to be said about not only the position of his chest, his back and my chest, but also his hips and my hips. So like, just scoop your hips down and away. Like, I don't think that people are gonna score this as back either. Maybe it's just because it's not chest to back. Yeah. But I don't know, we can maybe somebody would score this. It's pretty, it feels pretty close to me, it kind of sucks. So,
interesting. Yeah, something to think about, I guess.
You gotta be controlling the position.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that kind of, I think Peter told me this, I can't remember exactly, but Peter is like the head judge of like all of the
European dude who walks around.
He's the Bulgarian dude, yeah. Not the bald European guy. Marco is like fucking jacked guy. He's like Mo for Europe and Asia, but Peter is like the head of the rules. I'm sure he does other stuff too, but he's like in charge of all the rules. If we have legal discussions, we go to him. He told me one time that if you're judging and you think it's on the line, it's kind of a gray zone, you don't know, then just give it time. And if it ends up in a position that is for sure points, well then clearly they had enough points to score. But if it ends up in a position where it's for sure no points, then they clearly didn't have enough control to score. Exactly. But that doesn't mean that if he's like here like this, where it's like, oh, maybe it's chest to back, maybe it's not. It doesn't mean that once he gets a good chest to back, now I start counting 1, 2, 3. It's more like he has control, but we kind of want to see how it goes. And then whenever he solidifies position, okay, yeah, he for sure got it. But if it's the other
time
way,
is already counting, but there's not
a little bit like that. There's a little bit of subjectivity, I think, to it. But that's kind of the way that Peter has told me before, and how I'm sort of thinking about it now whenever I'm scoring matches. Yeah, exactly.
And that still is up to the table, not to the
Right, the table's giving points.
I don't think it was understand.
Yeah, like I mentioned that, so that nobody's yelling.
No idea.
Oh, come on, you told me in the seminar yesterday.
A lot of them are looking at the referee, but that was like one thing I would appreciate. Like I remember in one of my matches,
I shot a double and I thought I shot for 3 seconds and then I pulled and then they gave me a negative and then you told me, hey, they gave you a negative.
Yeah,
which like really isn't your job.
I told you they gave you a negative.
Yes, which really isn't your job, but that's like
just
a
so you
good,
know. I don't know.
and
A lot
that's
of
like
them
good. That's you know because you don't control the points at all. So you just kind of said, hey, just so you know, this is where the match is at.
Yeah,
You know?
I can kind of talk about that in general because we're not like IBJJF. If you talk to the ref, it's no big deal. Like if you, for example,
I talk to them all the time. Yeah, I'm always like, hey,
so if you have the back and you go for like body triangle and you unlock it and you count 1, 2, 3 in your head and you relock it and you look up at the scoreboard and you didn't get points, you can be like, hey ref, like why didn't I get points? And I'll tell you it wasn't long enough. Go a little longer. And then 1, 2, 3, and now you get it and I'll be like, okay, got your points. So it's not like IBJJF where you can't talk to us.
They don't even like exist in IBJJF.
I had a Naga ref shush me one time. Really? Yeah. And I think I was coaching. I was like coaching, trying to ask him something.
I've lost it on some
it's
people
so
take it way too serious. That
like if they're like arguing back with you or something, like that makes sense, right? To be like, yo, shut the fuck up, like I'm in charge.
Grappling industry where they like told us not to coach.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're talking too much.
That's my job.
What are we supposed to be here for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it would be great to mention that because I think some people don't fully understand that.
Yeah, I'll mention that, then I'll show the last technique, and then we can do a Q&A or whatever. So I'm a referee. I mostly referee, but I can also judge. So you need to understand that there's 3 people on each table. It's a judge, a primary judge. They're in charge of the table. Okay, so if you're going to get DQ'd, it's going to be because the primary judge is saying...
That's me.
You get DQ'd, right? But there's also a secondary judge, and their job is to help the primary judge determine things like initiation, decide the decision at the end of the match, and put the points on the board and stuff like that. But they're not just a scorekeeper. They're also like helping determine the outcome of the match. The table also gives warnings, they give negatives, they give calls to actions, and the referee is only responsible for keeping the action safe and going in the middle of the mat. Now I know you hear it's ADCC, you guys don't keep it in the middle of the mat. Listen, we're trying, okay? No. But not very hard. But it's difficult. Sometimes you got guys like this fucking going under the table and coming out on the other side or whatever. So, yeah, so they just wanted me to mention that. So like, if you don't score points, maybe the judges made a mistake, I don't know. But don't get mad at the ref. Like, we don't even give the points. Like, how many times have you seen an ADCC judge do like this or like this? Like, no, we do like that. Hooks are in, you know? That's what the refs do. We don't do any of this stupid shit. Okay, we do this shit. So, and the last thing is that we don't care if you guys talk to us. So like, I had one match where this guy was like, I don't know, there's 2 stupid white belts in Arizona. And the one guy just like went for a takedown on the other guy, and the guy who got taken down was like, "It's over for you now, buddy. Like, you're gonna die today," or like some crazy shit like that. And I was like, "Bro, what the fuck? Like, chill." If he said like one more thing, I was gonna like DQ him, and then he ended up finishing the triangle that he had. But so anyways, so the point is, like, don't be saying stupid shit. But like I was talking to these guys about, so a lot of people know this, because they've seen Gordon do it and stuff, is if you get to the back, you can rescore by, so you have it for 3 seconds, you can rescore by taking the hook out, 1, 2, 3, and putting it back in, okay? If you go, when you're in the hurly-burly of action, your heart is beating quickly, your 3 seconds is gonna, I guarantee you, it's gonna be longer than the judges. You know, so count, one tip that I would give a lot of people is count to 5. So you go here, you count 1, 2, 3, and you put it back, and you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, fuck you, asshole, like, ref, why didn't give me points? Like, okay, first of all, I don't give the points, but you can ask us, like, you can talk to us, right? Like, hey, where are the points? And I'll tell you it wasn't long enough. And now, take it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put it back in, 1, 2, 3, and now you get your points again. And you can even ask me, you know, hey, did I get the points? Or If you want, say we're like the scoreboard and your coaches are over there, you can't hear the screaming, the match is all the way over here, you can say, hey ref, how much time is left? And as long as you're not in like a fully locked submission or something like that, then I'll look up at the scoreboard and let you know. So that's the kind of the two things that I wanted to say before I show the last technique, is that basically it's not IBJJF. So yeah, fuck those guys. That was the last technique. So we've been looking at, we've basically been building our turtle up, right? So we started in this like ground position where we're on our hips, and we keep our hips really low so we can retain guard, and we build up so we can get that Kosoto hook, and we roll them over. And now we build up a little more, and now we're dropping down for a Granby. Now we build up a little more, and we're doing that asymmetrical twerking action to get them off. Now we're keeping our hips up high, and we're pulling them over the top. So we're going from top to bottom. So what's the next thing that we're gonna do? Stand the fuck up. So this is how it's gonna look. We get to our turtle position, he passes our guard, whatever, we come to turtle, and I trust that you guys can do the pass the guard to turtle now, right? I don't need to show it, okay. So now, we do the same things that we're doing before. If we need to, we post on our forehead so we can get our feet out, we start building up, and we come here, yeah, he's probably gonna switch to a body lock like this, and now we need to start standing up. So we can step through and start leaning back into our partner so that we can get a stand here. Okay, when we get standing up like this, he's probably gonna wanna mat return us. So one thing that I want you guys to practice is, he lifts, whichever foot is in between your legs, you can either wrap around the inside or the outside. I did that backwards. You can wrap around the inside or, fuck, I did it. You can wrap your leg around either way, okay? So when he lifts you up, what you're gonna wanna, I missed it, sorry, go back down. When he lifts you up, you wrap in here. Now when he tries to lift you and suplex you over, we're wrapped in, okay? Now we can do it from the other side too, so maybe he's more over this way. Wrap in, and it's hard for him to lift, okay? So you can practice this going back and forth. You can move around a little bit. He doesn't tell you, you wrap in, boom, moving around, boom. Okay, maybe you miss it, that's fine, we're practicing, right? You go, he lifts, oh fuck, you miss it. Okay, but one thing that's gonna happen is if he keeps trying to lift you and you keep hooking in, when you do miss it, he's not gonna send you over, especially if your head is leaned super far forward. So like, one thing that John's always told us is, if you're getting suplexed, what you should do is just like, take your head forward. So if he goes to, this is a very extreme example, but if he goes to suplex you, and you just go like this, like almost like, was it Dancing with the Stars where they do the Titanic? It's kind of like the opposite, where instead of holding me up, he's like, well, he's holding me up, but he's pulling. Anyways, you get the idea. So if he's suplexing you, and you're leaning forward, then it's gonna be very hard. So we just keep that little bit of tip in our head, and we keep our head forward, so that if he goes to lift and he misses, and we miss the leg, it's gonna be hard for him to lift us. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cross over Granby with a ton of momentum. If you can't fucking like break this guy's grip apart with this, or end up on top, like, I don't know what to do. Keep doing jiu-jitsu eventually, I guess. But so, I'm leaning forward, right? He's lifting me, I'm hooking. He's lifting me, I'm hooking to the inside. Now he lifts me and I miss, right? But my head's still forward, lift me up. Now what I'm gonna do is as I go down, I'm gonna hit a crossover step and just pop off my leg. So he lifts me, my head is forward, and I hit the crossover step Granby coming from this position here, okay? If he lets go, then perfect. We end up in a position where we can retain guard. Now keep in mind that if you were standing for more than 3 seconds, you're gonna have to stay standing, okay? So again, we get to our turtle, we start building up, he takes a rear body lock, and now we're able to get up onto our hands, and we're in this position here. He lifts, we hook. He lifts, we hook. He lifts, our head's still forward, and now we just pop off the mat, and we roll through for the same crossover Granby that we looked at before, okay? So, you guys wanna see it again? Okay. So we'll just do it from standing now. It's a good idea to practice. Practice going from turtle to standing, but I guess I'm in charge here, so don't do what I say, not what I do, or whatever. Okay, so he lifts, I hook. He lifts, I hook. He lifts, I hook and miss. I just tap the ground. However it happens, maybe we're wrestling here, we're still scrambling. Come up. Here. Whatever we do, we get in and we attack. Yeah? 1, 2.
but my butt was not doing it. I missed the leg. I went to the hook one.
Yeah, if you can get this leg in front. Okay, there's a crazy throw right here. Let's see if I can do it like very, very nicely. But if he's like this and I wrap up like that, I can take this grip. So he lifts, and now I can take this grip and throw with Haragushin, back to Haragushin. He was being really nice and really good, but that's the idea. Yeah, I was like, oh, and I got the sock. So that's like a kind of a very like edge case when he's super far on your side and he's also stepping behind you with this leg. Okay, if he's turned sideways like this, then it's possible to go lift. And as soon as you hit the ground, then you take his leg out from under him, kick through and through.
Oh yeah, thanks man. Do it.
Yeah, so if it's the clean leg, when he goes most of the way, step in front. Right. Now you can hook the right leg to the inside. Step your right foot in front. And hook the inside with the right leg. And you shouldn't be able to pick you up. So that to me is like the perfect system to simply just stop you from slamming you.
So that was all the techniques that I had for you guys. So first of all, thank everybody for coming. That was pretty cool. Joey said that there was going to be like 10 people here, so I guess
Lower your expectations.
it's the same thing I do with women. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. And hopefully you like the techniques. If you have any questions, then I'm going to hang around for a little while if you want to ask questions, or I don't know if you guys want to just do it in front of everyone or whatever. But the other thing is, I have no job now except for reffing and jiu-jitsu. So if you want to support me, I brought these beautiful, of my own design, t-shirts. They are turtle, and it says no points. Because you score no points when you go to turtle. And I have sizes all the way from, I think it's kids medium. It's like for 6 to 8 year olds.
For me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll beat you to the joke before you say it.
6 to 8, 6 to 12, and then small, medium, large, and extra, extra large. For the extra, extra large fellas in the room. So anyways, thank you guys for coming, and yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
Any last thoughts, comments, questions, guys?
Yourself in overtime with someone who's just so superior in the standing position, you just don't think you can take them down. Is there anything you can do, or are you just kind of screwed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. So let's get you and somebody else pick a partner. Or if you suck at wrestling, well, I guess that's why you're asking the question. Okay,
so let's say I go against Brad in overtime. I know I can't take Brad down.
Oh, he's the good wrestler.
Yeah, I'm not that. I've been trying, but some of you run into some guys who are really good and really strong, and you're tired of it.
Okay, so there's a couple things that we can do. So one is directly, well, they're both fairly rules related. One is sort of tactical, and one is directly related to the rules. So there's they call it a loophole, but it's literally written into the rules, so it's not a loophole. Like, I don't know what to call that, but if you have any ideas, let me know. So because I've been having the same speech like every single time I teach a seminar. Anyways, so this non-loophole that's written into the rules. So one thing that you can do is you take a shitty shot and you just end up on a single leg, especially if you're on your knees. Now just drive forward and attempt to take him down. 1, 2, 3, but he's sprawling out, you're not gonna get it? Now pull.
Not full?
No. Okay. So there's no negative. There's no negative. It has to be, specifically, it has to be 3 seconds of trying to take your partner down by going forward.
Grips on the legs.
The rule doesn't specifically say grips on the legs, but if you went for an Uchimata for 3 seconds and then sat, that would be really weird and you would probably get a negative.
What if, so I'm on my knees. What if I have like a high single and I'm trying to drive him down and then like follow the guard with that and go for like some sort of leg lock? Is that, do I have to be kind of on my knees underneath?
So maybe you're pointing out a hole in my own knowledge and that I need to like ask more about this rule, but the way that I understand it is, let's say it this way, what is sufficient to not have you score a negative? So what's sufficient is on your knees running forward. That is sufficient.
On your knees. Cool.
Now,
Forward progress.
yeah. Now, tomorrow I will ask about the high single leg, but I'm pretty sure they're going to say that it's going to be a guard pull.
So if I just get low and just hustle underneath him for like 3 seconds and then just let him fold me to bottom position and...
You don't even have to let him fold you into bottom position. You can just sit.
Okay.
Yeah, but it has to be a legitimate attempt. So like, let's go in, and let's say you shoot in on your knees and you get a single leg, and now Kyle sprawls out, and stop.
Oh, no, sorry, I can't hear. I can't hear.
So Kyle sprawls out, so you're in a single leg, Kyle sprawls out, and now you don't have hands behind his legs anymore, right? Hands are kind of on the mat, and you're just running forward like this. This is not going to be a position where you can pull. You have to be attempting a takedown, and this is not a takedown. This is just running forward on your hands and knees.
What about an underhook? What if my hands slide up to an underhook from the leg?
And then what, you like try to go
here,
for,
like
if you're going for like a knee tap, something like that,
yeah. If I let go of the legs but keep some sort of like upper
that would
body.
probably be fine, yeah. But this is another time, like, if you're gonna ask me, what can I do 100% of the time to not get scored on? It's gonna be grab a single leg and drive forward on your knees, and then count to 5 for yourself, and then pull.
Sure. Okay.
The other thing is, so the first question is, how can I win by not being on the feet? And the second question is, how can I win just in general, maybe we stay on the feet? And this, so like I said, whenever I teach the full 3-hour seminar, we go over no points, points, and overtime. And in overtime, I specifically talk about initiation. So the way that we score a decision in ADCC is different than any other organization. We try our best to score the match based on who had the most significant initiations throughout the match. The most beautiful example of this is stand up. So, what's your name?
Brett.
Brett?
Brett.
Oh, we got Asian and Brett. Okay, so if Brad shoots a single leg and stay on your feet this time.
Oh, stay on the feet?
Yeah, stay on your feet, shoot a single leg.
Okay.
And now Kyle immediately grabs the Uchimata and flips him over. Sumigashi also goes. Okay, if this was in the no points period, there's no points for a takedown, right? But who initiated this whole situation?
Right.
It was Brett. Yeah, for the single leg, right? So Kyle is never gonna hit an overback Yoko Sumigashi if Brad doesn't shoot in on the legs. So we can start racking up initiations in order to win the decision. So like, fuck, this guy's a good wrestler. Like, even if I take him down, I'm not gonna score on him. Even if I get to his back, he's gonna use the beautiful techniques that he learned today and not get scored on as well. So what you can do is, so go up. All you're gonna do is you're gonna come in and you're gonna take a right collar tie and left inside bicep tie. Okay, now from here, you're gonna circle to your left to draw his right foot forward. That's your left.
Oh, his right foot. His left? Oh.
Your left. Now, with this leg forward, just reach down with the collar tie, pick up the leg, and drop to your knees. Yeah. Okay, now from here, let's say Kyle's a super good wrestler, and he sprawls out. Sprawl, go behind. 1, 2, 3, roll bottom side control.
Oh.
Elbow escape. Get up.
Get up.
Okay, 1 initiation for you.
Okay.
The only reason that he got the side control is because you shot and you like pulled bottom side control from turtle. So if you guys want to watch somebody who's really good at this, Andrew DeGraff is like the fucking master at this. He'll shoot in. When did Andrew beat you?
I beat him once.
Okay.
You
You didn't put him out with a punch choke, did you?
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah. So Andrew DeGraff is really good at this. So you'll see him versus there's this like specific match that I remember reffing of his where he fought this like Mexican guy. I don't remember what his name is. I just remember Mario something I think. They went to overtime and he shot in, rolled to bottom side control, shot in, rolled to bottom side control, shot in, rolled to bottom side control. At the end of the match, we're like, this is the easiest decision we've ever done. I raise Andrew DeGraff's hand and Mario comes over to the table furious. He's like, I was in top position the whole time. You guys are racist, like blah, blah, blah. So anyways, the point is that go for initiations.
I have one question about that. So, what about like throw by attempts on underhooks or like dive like
So,
really like falling on?
Now the question, the question
is it just grabbing legs?
Yeah, the question is about what counts as an initiation. So you guys can stand up. So let's say Brad, you just fucking collar tie him, and then you back off, and you collar tie him, and you back off, and you collar tie him. Okay. If there's 9 minutes of this, then yes, you won because you were the only person that did literally anything. Okay, but if Kyle, like, say you grab a collar tie and now Kyle hits like a duck motion to get to a leg or whatever, something like this, okay. Now for sure he's got the initiation. So it's not enough just to tie up, but if you go and you grab an underhook and then off of your you grab an underhook and now you're going for a throw by, right? And now maybe you don't get the rear body lock, but you're going for that throw by and he's able to spin out, then you're gonna get an initiation for that. But just grabbing grips is not going to be enough.
Bring attempt towards the back, attempt towards
it's got to be something that legitimately makes your partner defend, and just like clearing a collar tie is not really like a legitimate defense. Like, did he have to clear the collar tie? No, he could have just stayed there if he wanted to. But if you go for a throw by, he has to elbow cut back.
At what point is a counter of an initiation? Does it get me ahead?
Right, that's a good question.
So he initiates, I hit that Uchimata.
Yep. So let's go back to the same thing. So we go Uchimata, but now we end up, instead of all the way down, we end up in front headlock. Okay, now we're here. Maybe 3-5 seconds go by, and now you slide in a guillotine. Yep. You go for that guillotine, he escapes. Boom. Okay. Now, the way I would score that is I would give him an initiation for the initial shot. And then we were like, then the original shot doesn't really matter anymore. Like, we were in this position for so long, he could have kept doing something, but he stayed there, and now you initiated something. So I would score your guillotine as an initiation as well.
So we both get initiation.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
It's like a separate sequence of events.
Essentially, yeah. It's essentially a separate sequence of events, yeah.
Okay. So, but also too, during the no points, if I have an initiation and I just mildly get countered, it's better for me.
Oh yeah, fucking go for submissions, go for everything. Yeah, exactly. Like a really good example, so play supine guard. So let's say you get to a hip and knee post, and now your partner pulls your arm through for a takeatame. Yeah, okay. And now you're able to rip your arm out. Maybe it wasn't that strong or whatever, right? But when you had that hip and knee post, like, you were fucking on it. Like, like you're really here. He's fighting. Now he pulls, exactly. You pull your arm out.
I get initiation.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. But if you're really dumb and you go and you're standing square with him and you go to a hip and knee post standing square and he pulls your arm through for takeatame, then you weren't causing him to defend anything, so he's gonna get the initiation for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. And a lot of people don't know too, guys, that the finals matches, it's only for the first place match, right?
Only for the first place match.
First place match is that negative
Points, the negative guard pull happens throughout the entire match. I think a lot of people don't know that really well.
So negative, we always say negative points start from the beginning. So it's not just a negative for guard pull, it's any negative. If you're stalling in the beginning.
Great story, you were the referee for
Adrian's match in Vegas when he had a broken foot. Do you remember the guy hopping around like this?
Yeah.
And we told him to go out, we told him to go out and just get
a guard, right?
we told him just get taken down because there's no points. But I don't want you to get negative guard pull.
Yeah.
So Adrian gets taken down with the one leg, but then some reason just gets back up and slammed on his leg. And you went, what are you doing? You like yelled at him. Like,
I didn't think I got taken down, and so I assumed that like.
But then you got back.
Yeah, no. I was like, oh shit.
It's a great video, and it's a fun thing to, like you said, the referees are involved because you instantly said that was stupid, and she was like, what happened?
Yeah, I think it was right next to y'all's corner too, and I was like, I told you guys, I was like, why did he do that?
But he still won.
Yeah. So this is another important thing when you make it to the finals match. Don't be a stupid idiot and put your leg up and hop around because they know you want to get taken down and they're just not going to take you down. Okay? The best thing to do is actually try to take them down and then just get countered. Like Helena did this in her finals match at ADCC. Like, so standing again?
Yeah.
So this is finals. You cannot fool. This is stupid. He's never going to pick up the leg. He's going to bat it away. He's going to say, oh, you fucking idiot. Like, okay. Now don't make this mistake where Kyle puts his leg up and his partner grabs the leg and now Kyle sits down. Okay, nothing that the top guy did forced him to the ground. So I'm going to give Kyle a negative. He willingly went to the ground on his own. Another example that people mess up is if Brad gets a rear body lock, and now Kyle's not getting mat returned or anything. He just drops to his knees and elbows. He willingly went to the ground, so we're going to give him a negative as well. Okay, so here's what you should do. So both of you guys stand up, separate. So Brad's going to go for that single leg again. And now, as Kyle hits the Uchimata counter, let's say Kyle has the shittiest Uchimata in all of ADCC. Brad really sells it, and he just fucking goes flying. No negative. That's good. Okay, so people know now, like, why would I grab your leg and just let you sit down? Like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start doing stuff like, so come out. I'm only gonna play upper body wrestling. I'm gonna go for underhooks and stuff, and go for throw bys, stuff like this. All I'm looking for is the back. Because if I go for a leg tackle, he's just gonna fall down. So one of you guys go for a leg tackle, he's just gonna fall down. Yeah, and now we're playing in the guard, which is what he wants, right? So if you're in the position where you're the better wrestler, use throw bys, slide bys, ducks, and stuff like that. Work to the back and put your partner down that way, because you would rather be behind them, even in turtle with no hooks, whatever, than in front of them where they can play in their guard.
So in the finals match, you're still in no points period, but not negative, so you can still get taken down and be an open guard and then play.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, you can get taken down. You can get suplexed onto your head, fucking mounted, knee on belly, and your back taken, and there's no points. But if you sit down on your ass, then you get a negative.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
That's great. Any other thoughts about rules, guys? And at the end of the day, if this, for those who are new, like
Joe's first tournament, a couple of us first tournaments, forget about it. Just go grapple, because it will be overwhelming. Like in the mat, you're not going to have time to think about some of the stuff that we talked about. Just go grapple. But as before you know it, if you do 3 or 4 of these tournaments with these rule sets, this stuff will start paying off. But don't overwhelm yourself with, too much.
I will say, for those of you guys that are fairly new, like people ask me all the time, what's the main thing that I can do to get better at ADCC rules if I'm new? The main thing you can do, it's super easy. Don't turtle during no points, and turtle during points. It's so easy. And then if you want to go one step above that, when you're in turtle for 3 seconds, count 5. Know that you can put your back on the mat and completely do away with any back exposure. Okay? So if you guys can do that, then nobody is going to score on you. And then people are going to be really upset that you're rolling to bottom side control and they're not giving you points, and you can laugh in their face from bottom side control.
you just don't know the rules.
Yeah. Because they don't know the rules.
You do. Good job. Awesome, man. I appreciate you guys. There's nothing else. We're looking forward.